Hey everyone! Welcome back to our C# tutorial series. If you've been following along, we've already covered the basics of C#, including variables, control structures, and loops. Today, we're going to dive into a concept that will take your programming skills to the next level: methods. Methods are like the building blocks of your programs. They allow you to break down your code into smaller, manageable pieces, making your code easier to read, debug, and reuse. Think of methods as the tools you can call upon to perform specific tasks whenever you need them. So, if you're ready to learn how to write cleaner, more organized code, let's get started. Before we jump into writing our first method, let's talk about what a method actually is. A method in C# is a block of code that performs a specific task. You can think of it like a recipe that you can follow over and over again. Instead of writing the same code multiple times, you write a method once and then call it whenever you need to perform that task. For example, if you're building a game, you might have a method to calculate the player's score, a method to check if the player has won, and a method to display the results on the screen. Each of these tasks is neatly organized into its own method, which keeps your code clean and easy to understand. Now, let's look at how to define a method in C#. To define a method in C#, you need to specify several key components. 1. Access modifier. This determines who can call the method. The most common modifier is public, which means any part of your program can call the method. 2. Return type. This tells the method what type of value it will return. If the method doesn't return a value, you use void. 3. Method name. This is the name you'll use to call the method. It should be descriptive of what the method does. 4. Parameters. These are the inputs the method needs to perform its task. They're optional. Some methods might not need any parameters. 5. Method body. This is the code inside the method that gets executed when the method is called. Let's write a simple method that prints a welcome message. Open up Visual Studio, and inside your class, add the following code. Let's break this down. Public. This means that any part of your program can call this method. Void. The method doesn't return a value. Print welcome message. This is the method's name. The parentheses are where you would put any parameters, but this method doesn't need any. Inside the curly braces, we have the method body. In this case, it's just a single line that prints a message to the console. Now that we've defined the method, let's see how to call it. Once you've defined a method, you can call it from anywhere in your code where it's accessible. To call our print welcome message method, simply add the following line inside the main method. Your complete code should look something like this. However, you might notice that this code doesn't compile. That's because main is a static method, and it can only call other static methods directly. To fix this, we need to make our print welcome message method static as well. Let's update the code. Now, when you run the program, it will output. Welcome to the C# tutorial series. And there you go. You've just written and called your first method. But methods can do much more than just print messages. Let's take a look at how methods can accept parameters. Methods become incredibly powerful when they can accept parameters. Parameters allow you to pass data into a method, making it flexible and reusable. Let's say we want to create a method that prints a personalized greeting. Instead of always printing the same message, we can pass a name to the method and include that in the message. Here's how you can define a method with a parameter. In this method, string name, this is a parameter that the method expects to receive when it's called. The parameter's type is string, meaning it should be text. Now, to call this method and pass in a name, you would do something like this. When you run this code, the output will be, "Hello, Alice. Welcome to the C# tutorial series. You can call print greeting with different names to generate personalized greetings for different users. Try it out with a few different names. Each time, the method will print a customized message based on the name you pass in. This is a simple example, but it demonstrates how parameters can make your methods more dynamic and useful. Now that we've seen how to pass information into a method, let's talk about how to get information back out. Sometimes, you want a method to perform a calculation or process some data and then return a result. To do this, you change the method's return type from void to the type of value you want to return. Let's look at an example where we create a method to add two numbers together and return the result. Here's how you can define such a method. In this method, int before the method name indicates that the method will return an integer. The method takes two integer parameters, number1 and number2. Inside the method, we calculate the sum of number1 and number2 and store it in a variable called sum. Finally, the method returns the sum using the return keyword. Now, let's call this method and use the result. When you run this code, the output will be the sum is 12. The addNumbers method adds the two numbers and returns the result, which we then store in the result variable and print out. This is a simple example, but returning values from methods is a powerful concept that you'll use all the time. Alright, it's time for a challenge. Let's apply what we've learned by creating a method to calculate the area of a circle. Here's what you need to do. 1. Define a method called calculateAreaOfCircle. 2. The method should accept a single parameter, the radius of the circle. 3. Inside the method, calculate the area using the formula, area equals pi asterisk radius asterisk radius. 4. Return the calculated area as a double. 5. Call the method from main, pass in a radius, and print the result. Here's a hint to get you started. Once you've defined this method, you can call it like this. When you run the code, it should calculate and print the area of the circle with the specified radius. Give it a try, and see if you can extend the method to handle more scenarios. Maybe allow the user to input the radius or handle invalid input. And there you have it. Today, we've explored the power of methods in C#. You've learned how to define methods, pass parameters to them, and return values from them. These are foundational concepts that will make your code more organized, efficient, and easier to manage as your programs grow in complexity. In the next video, we'll take a closer look at arrays and how to work with collections of data. Arrays are incredibly useful, and combined with what you've learned about methods, you'll be able to tackle even more complex programming challenges. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And as always, if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.